Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay, and today I'm going to be making some very cheap, easy, modular-ish lava rivers. Now, I'm thinking this would be possibly useful for like Sullust in Star Wars Legion, but you could, it'd be suitable for 40k or whatever if you wanted some lava fields or what have you. It'll look something like this. Now, the painting and the camera not particularly good. I'll do some pictures at the end. And when I say modular-ish, you can just sort of slide... Ooh, I can't do it at this angle. That's crazy. Slide the stuff together so it'll go like that. Obviously, it'll look a little bit better when it's flat. I'm just botching this up because I don't understand my up and down and left and right. But yeah, it's actually really cheap and really simple to do. My paint job on this is not that great, but if you want to spend more time getting it bob on, I'm sure you'll be very happy. And when I say it's very cheap, basically the core material I use is it's 3mm cork. It's like cork sheets. I got mine from Wilkins for £3 for 4 very large sheets. Really good deal, but you can get it on eBay and that kind of thing. For the base, I use Chipboard, which is basically like the back of like a legal letter. It has like cards saying "Do not bend." It's basically that stuff. You can buy it separately, but if you needed to, you could try and secure some from an envelope, preferably not in use. Anything else that I used? Well, paints, obviously, some super glue, and some filler, some spackle. And I'll show you how I did it. It's really simple, really quick, suitable for Sullust. Although if you're going for Sullust, if you actually look at the pictures, it's a bit more like dark red rather than like orange and yellows. But whatever, let's go. Let's show you how I did it. So the first thing that I do is I want to make sure that my terrain, my lava rivers like match up. I'm not looking for 100% modularity. Like if you do a river, normally you want the start and the end of the river to be like 100% exact. In this case, I just want the lava channel to match up. So what I do is I cut out a 1" by 1" square of the chipboard, and I basically use that to mark where I want the start and the ends, or the you know what I mean, like the edges of the lava. Because the bits around it, I'm not too bothered about. So once you've like marked on your like 1 inches, you want to get your cork sheets, and if it's 3mm, it'd be very easy to tear, and just tear it into like thin strips. You don't want 100% straight edges or anything. You just want it to be completely rough, and you want to put it down each side, and making sure you've got your 1 inch at the start and at the end kind of thing. Now you could draw around it and then cut it out. Or you can do what I do if you've got chipboard. You could use other materials. Chipboard's just very easy to work with in this case, but you could use EPVC, corrugated cardboard, whatever. You could draw around it and cut it out. I just glue mine on and then cut around it, but it's completely up to you how you want to do it. Because I'm not really bothered about the outside edges. I'm not, they don't need to have that much texture, but even just cutting around it irregularly is going to be fine. I then I get some really small bits and just put it in where the lava channel would be. You don't have to do that. You could put some on the sides just to give it a little bit of extra height or depth kind of thing. It's very easy to do different corners. I did 100% like a pure right angle here. You can do any angles you like because we're not looking for that full river that goes across the board. If you're interested in how to maybe do a start and an end piece, just let me know and I'll try and do a tutorial for that. But for the right angle, I draw it out basically. I do my start and the end, and I sort of put where I roughly want the channel, and then I get my cork sheet and just sort of tear it into the right shapes. So if you're doing your right angle, it's a bit tricky because you need like an L-shaped bit of cork. But you can actually just glue it on and then sort of pick at it if you want. Or you can just sort of keep, eyeballing it over the piece that you're trying to get a right angle for. It doesn't have to be precise. As long as you've got your 1 inch start and end, everything will match up. I do have an extra long piece with like that splits off like a T-junction, but you could get very creative with it and maybe have a double T-junction, whatever you want. I'm limited by the size of my chipboard because I had small chipboard, but you could do whatever the hell you wanted, honestly, just as long as everything is 1 inch at the start and at the end. Now, I said that I would glue it on. The glue that I am using here is super glue, and that's the glue I would recommend because I'm using chipboard, which is cardboard. I don't want to get it too wet because cardboard can warp quite easily. So super glue, that's not going to be too wet. If you use PVA, that is a bit wet. And hot glue I didn't want to use because it's quite like dense. If you try and get things super flat with hot glue, it won't 100% work sometimes because it's quite thick. So I use super glue. And then what you want to do, you want to get your filler or your spackle if you're American. And in the lava channels, we're going to get a thin layer of filler. Now, you don't want to use too much water getting it in and on the next bit because, as I said, it could warp. But once you've got your thin layer, we're going to take a brush, a very crap brush, don't use your really good ones, and we're sort of just going to dab at it just to try and get a bit of texture. If you can, try and make it look like it's flowing. Either direction, it doesn't really matter. Just try and give it a bit of movement. You don't want it to go too far up your edges. I'm only using 3mm Cork here, so if you did a big thick piece, it'd look like it was overflowing. But that's up to you. Do that for all of your pieces. I'm just doing 3 because I felt like doing 3, but you could do as many or as little as you like. And then you should be able to try and get a texture in it. And then off camera, I painted the sides black and the lava red. I was quite happy with the way this looked by default, but if you look at Sollust, it actually is fairly like red. Sollust, by the way, is in the Battlefront 2 game, but whatever. So the first thing I'm going to do with the painting, once I've done my main base colors off camera, I'm going to dry brush, and I'm going to dry brush the side of it grey, just like a dark grey, and then a lighter grey. So you can see the first dark grey, you can see it going on, you can see the difference to the rest of the black areas. Looks pretty good. I sort of wish that I left it as one. I think one dry brush would actually have been perfect. I feel like I went a bit too light with mine. It's up to you to do what you like. Now the brushing of the lava, I didn't spend enough time on, if I'm honest. It's up to you to sort of decide what colours you want and how you're going to do it kind of thing. But the key thing is I did it red, did the base red, and then I got a bit of red and orange, mixed that together, dry brushed it in the middle. And then I just kept going lighter, so I went then to just the orange and dry brushed it in the middle. And then I went finally to like a neon-y yellow. And then finally, I said finally before, it wasn't really finally, to it's like a slightly off-white yellow, which I didn't really like, but so then what I did, I made an orange wash and washed the whole thing in orange. But there was some like brush marks and stuff like that, and I didn't really like it. So I've actually gone back today, just off camera, and just dry brushed it a little bit in orange, as I feel like yellowy orange is a better highlight colour than sort of like an off-white. It looks a little bit weird, but that's just me. But that's pretty much it. Like, as you can see, really quick. I mean, in time-wise, this probably took me less than an hour. So really simple. And you could do lots of it. And I think it's a very striking effect on the battlefield. So I'll just recap why that was actually so quick. If you're using the chipboard, do be careful not to get it too wet. You've got your cork strips. You want to make sure that your ins and your outs of your lava river all the same size. I used 1 inch. You can use whatever you like. You want to turr your cork so it's rough. You don't want it to be smooth, like straight lines. That's unnatural. You can either draw around it and cut it out, or you can glue it on and then cut it out depending on the material you're using. You use filler in the middle. Try and stipple it to get a nice texture. Then you paint it. Well, you paint your sides black and the lava red. And then you just dry brush lighter colours. So you go dry brush grey on the side, dry brush orange, and then yellow in the middle. Any combination of that will end up with decent results. So yeah, that's it. Let's back to me. So honestly, I mean, that was really easy, and I think it actually has quite a striking effect. It really looks good on camera. I mean, it's a bit dark because of the light in here, but any combination works as long as you've done the 1 inch thing. And you can see, like, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like, it doesn't matter that doesn't 100% line up because it's like rocks and lava-y, rocky terrain. Who's bothered? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like, well, my river is exactly 5 inches wide here and 5 inches wide here, so it goes together. Because we're not matching up the bank. It's like jagged rock anyway. If you wanted to, you could do that if you like use scissors and you made it so your lava was the same and then each side was the same. But I feel like that would be a lot of effort. Painting wise is easy. I would recommend spending maybe a little bit of time than what I did and trying to get a nice result. But it was cheap, probably less than a tenner in total, and I could make a lot for less than a tenner. Like, I've got quite a lot left. Yeah, pretty happy with it. If you want to see like how to maybe do an end piece, do let me know. But all I was really thinking about doing was like stacking up the cork and then and having a gap and then making the filler come out of that. Nothing amazing, you know. I wasn't thinking a volcano. This would look really good on an asphalt mat is what I'm really thinking about using it for. The reality is a lot of the mats already have lava on it, but that to me is it's a little bit too much when they have lava on them. I feel like an asphalt would look really nice. Obviously, the reality is that's not quite accurate, but I think it would look really good. It depends on the game as well. Like, once we get the terrain rules, maybe a lava river will be difficult terrain to walk through or something. Whereas if you have a map where it's covered in lava, that doesn't really make any sense. Whereas if you've got specific rivers, that's fine. And you could easily make bridges and stuff like that. If you're into, I saw like in the Gen Con demo tables, they had like little bridges over the lava, which I think would be fairly easy to make. Do let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, really simple, really quick, really cheap, easy. So yeah, if you do like this video, do like the video. I'm really bad with words. And subscribe. Have a most beautiful day as always. Oh, I do have a Patreon, which I think the link will still work for, even though YouTube has taken away my advertisements. Damn you, YouTube. Damn you to hell. It's whatever, innit? But thank you so much to anybody who does already support me on Patreon. Some people like put the names at the end. I don't want to do that because I never actually asked them if they wanted that. But thank you anyway to those people. And yeah, goodbye. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.